bring pressure. Two inside backers come down the sideline. Romeo Dobbs, a touchdown.
Hang on. Love to Watson to a one-score game.
Hey, this is Ahman Green, Green Bay Packers all-time leader in rusher. Bill, the Packer fan and Packer owner, Nick, they run a website for Packer news and updates, and I know Packer news hasn't been so great lately because we got some players that are not Packers anymore that you loved at one time, but you might hate a little bit right now.
Two great running backs. We have a competent offensive line.
He's saying that he felt in November and December that they didn't want him back.
Get a little safety in that position. Either we go.
There's no reason to believe we can't return, but.
And they already came out. There's a couple guys that came out and said that Rodgers is telling
solution of it, and don't let them go for anything under than one.
And you know what, Packer fans? The Bears still suck. So go Pack Go, and good luck to you, Bill and Nick. Their website and their Packer news. Talk to you later.
It's a lot easier to come in and skip doing mop-up duty, but he threw the ball off. He kind of looked like Aaron Rodgers the way he was throwing the ball sidearm and just flicking the wrist, and the ball was just jumping out of his hands. Agreed.
Hey everybody, this is Gerhard de Beer, former Green Bay Packer offensive lineman, and you're watching Frozen Tundra Network with Bill the Packer fan and Packer owner Nick. Enjoy.
What's up, everybody? Frozen Tundra Network is back. Friday night. We're a little late tonight, but, it is what it is.
Life happens, bro. Life happens. That's all I can say.
We all got lives. So I wanted to do a very special segment today. We're going to do a shout-out to the Vikings fans with their tissue boxes and their crying-ass mother.
We're pretty much calling their season, right?
Dalvin Cook will no longer be a Minnesota Viking. So I want to start this segment with, we're going to first start with why did this happen? How did this happen? And we're going to transition into what does this mean for the Vikings? Does it mean rebuild? Does it mean basement? Does it mean you guys are just not going to be that good anymore? Let's talk about it. I'm going to start with Rob, since you were the last one here, you're going to be the first one to go. I'm that kind of
right.
a nice. So, how did this happen? What happened, Rob?
Man, I think the Vikings are doing what the Bears did last season, bro. They're tanking. They're just they realize they put up 13 wins by the skin of their teeth, and they got bupkis. And it's like we got to do something, and they get rid of. It's a fire sale, bro. It's bye. And they didn't get anything for Cook, which is I'm blown away by it. I mean,
their fans swore they would get something for Cook, and they got nothing for him.
Bro, should we sign their season goodbye now? I mean, 5 wins, man. All you got to do now is take Jefferson out of the game, and I don't know what do they got left.
Well, they lost Thielen. They did draft Jordan Addison.
They got Addison.
Jordan Addison might be pretty good. We'll see what happens with him.
Osborne.
They still have Osborne, who actually, I'm not going to lie, Osborne actually looks good at times. I'm not going to lie. He's all right.
Tight end.
But as Packer fans, how long do we live on a passing offense and nothing else?
One thing about it was
we had Aaron Rodgers, guys. We had Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, they have Kirk Cousins, so it's not as good of a passing offense, is it?
But they ain't going to have a defense. They're not going to have a defense.
No defense.
You want. You can't stop anybody. You're going to have to score 40, 50 points a game just to win.
So what do you think? What do you think happened? Why do you think this happened, John Dorn? Like something must have happened.
What happened was they're giving out too big of a contracts for fucking over, for actually players that weren't really they weren't bad, but they weren't great. You know what I mean? They're over. I mean, like, come on, it's like Steve Smith. He just came there just to get back at the Packers, and that was the only reason why he went there. He got his little thing. Now he went for money, and
that turned out to be a terrible acquisition.
Yeah, that was a bad one.
Not good last year.
I mean,
yeah, but he's gone now too, right? They got rid of him already.
Yep. They're getting rid of all their other debt, other money that to get back into. Crazy, they're negative, but fucking 30 or something before the fucking draft.
I don't know if you guys saw what happened the moment that they announced that Cook would not return and they were going to cut him. Yeah. All of a sudden, they're fielding offers for Daniil Hunter.
Yeah, I saw that.
Now,
I'm telling you, man. That's not no way to do your team. I can't see tanking a season. That's killer to me.
Here's another big part of their defense falling apart is Harrison Smith is no longer the same guy he was anymore. He's not going to carry your backfield anymore. He just won't. Danielle Hunter, I truly believe you can definitely get some draft picks for him. You might not get high value draft picks, but I think you can get like maybe a third and a fourth or something like that. I think you can get something decent. The fact that they let go of Cook with no trade value at all is just Ken, you go into it, tie into it.
Yeah. There had to be a decent amount of bad blood that ended up working up this offseason.
Do you think it was Manning, or do you think it was Cook, or
I would assume it would be Cook, that he saw that they were getting rid of a lot of guys, and he didn't want to stick around with it, and just said, if this is what you guys are doing, let's get rid of me. And he might have put a hard line stance to it of, if you don't get rid of me, I'm not coming to play for you, just because of the situation.
Yeah.
That is really what I think is likely. I don't think we'll actually get a confirmation on it. But for you to just give a player of his caliber just, okay, see you later, you could have got something.
So that's Vikings for you. I mean, come on.
The fact that they didn't says a lot, man. Holy.
I think there
who's
was
running the show over there?
Yeah. Okay. Jefferson wants at least over $30+ million a year,
which is crazy.
That's crazy. They're better off just trading his ass if I can get rid of him. And they're doing a rebuild anyways. And they got Addison now. I think that's one reason why they got Addison, just for a back. I think they might be trading JJ down the road.
I think there was a mesh of multiple things where this is new coaching, new management. Cook is part of the old regime. They're starting to filter out some of the old regime. For example, Thielen. Zadarius Smith was just a bad acquisition.
After the Packers game, he lost most of his motivation.
I truly believe that this is Cousins' last year on the Vikings. I don't, dude. There's
shit. He offered to take a damn pay cut, and they said, "Nah, we'll see you later, guy."
Yeah, this is it for Kirk Cousins. This is the Case Keenum year for him, but he won't be as successful. Now, I do believe that Cook sat there and looked at management and the Vikings as a totality, and just went, you know what? I'm better than this. Like, you guys are shitting on me right now is how it feels, and I'm just better than this. Let me go somewhere else and prove that I'm good enough. And I think they just went, look, we're probably redoing everything here soon anyways, so let's just get rid of him. Let's see if Madison is even worth anything at this point.
And you know what Cook is going?
A great year.
And Cook is going, thank you. I'm going to Miami, and we're gonna kick some ass in Miami.
I honestly think he's
going there. You think he's going to Miami?
Sorry, Jess, you ain't going to win that division.
If Miami gets him, dude, they have a bunch of running backs, man.
Miami's gonna be a good team.
What about Tennessee? I heard Tennessee was an option too.
Tennessee. See, if you have Cook behind Henry, I don't think it works properly. Only because I know that if Cook goes to the Dolphins, he would be the starter. He's going to start. And he could possibly, if he has a decent year, get that nice contract he's looking for. With the Titans, because they have Derrick Henry, unless the Titans are looking to move Derrick Henry and restart, I just couldn't see it. I couldn't see that being a factor.
Well, if I had both those guys, man, you talk about the best 1-2 probably in the game, man, and you could save Henry. I mean, Henry's carrying the whole load for them right now.
What about the Cowboys?
But,
that's where I think he's going to end up.
But you know what? I don't think the Cowboys is an option either, because I think they're 100% on the train.
Pollard. On
Pollard is going to be our guy from now on. Look, let's be honest, guys. Cook is not looking to back up anybody. That's not what he's not going to go somewhere to be a backup. In fact, one of the things that I read was that he was disgruntled last year from Madison taking so many of his carries. because he's not a backup. See what I'm saying? So you already got a guy that's pissed off. His carries are being eaten. He's going to go somewhere where he's going to be the starter. The Dolphins, he could start. He could.
Be a good
He could start in Buffalo, too.
Oh, about Bills, yeah, Buffalo. His brother works. His brother fucking runs
here's
there.
The problem, guys: the Buffalo Bills have no money. We talked about this last week. Remember, they have no money.
Right. Looks like somebody's going to have to play some cap magic.
Well, it looks like Diggs going to have to fucking do his contract.
Yeah.
Here's going to be one of these moments where fellow Green Bay Packers fans, irritate me. Imagine if we got Dalvin Cook, and I'm like, okay, see, now you're already just like you're.
Yeah, that's like I wouldn't want DeAndre Hopkins now. If we had Rodgers, I'd say yes, but now
we ain't playing for a Super Bowl, so we don't need to bring in some big guy shot.
Dalvin makes zero sense.
Throwing fucking receiver that's fucking overpaid.
Not only does he not fit our offensive scheme, what we're doing at this point. So what? He's going to eat a shitload of Aaron Jones and AJ Dillon's carries. That's the opposite of what we're trying to do at this point. Like, I'm not joking. Now, I wouldn't bring this up if I didn't see it, but I've seen it multiple times now. If I seen one post, just one post, and I'm like, oh, that guy's stupid. No, I've seen multiple posts where Green Bay Packers fans are like, if we just ventured the idea of Dalvin Cook, I'm like, get the fuck out of here. That is the dumbest thing ever. Okay. I actually think Aaron Jones is better than Dalvin Cook at this point.
We have a great number 1-2 punch.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
AJ Dillon was rated the number 1 backup running back in the league just recently. So what the fuck? But that's neither here nor there. Now, I'm going to go back to Rob. What does this mean for the division and the Vikings, like, for their season? Like, just going to suck? Is that what's going to happen?
I mean, I think now the Vikings could possibly get swept by the entire division. I mean, honestly, bro, the Bears may be the only team they could beat right now. I mean, everybody's looking past us, and that's all a topic for another.
Didn't they lose the Bears last year? Didn't they split with them?
Yeah, they split with the Bears.
And they barely beat them the first time. They made it. Yeah. They got that field goal at the end. They got lucky.
Cook leaving the division, man, puts Aaron Jones securely in the number 1 spot. This morning I was listening to those guys from Main Event talking about, well, until we see what Montgomery and that Gibbs does, bro. First of all, I don't think Gibbs is going to be starting over Montgomery, and Montgomery's Montgomery. We all know what he is.
Gibbs was a reach and a half.
Yeah, they're sold on him. I listen to those guys. Whatever, man. Look, as far as I'm concerned, the division's up for grabs, and this just whatever the Vikings fans thought they had going into this is losing Cook is.
They think that last year wasn't an anomaly. They think that it was the precursor.
No, I know. They might be as delusional as Lions fans.
Last year was a fluke.
The other ones he lost.
Vikings fans have to realize that last year was a fucking fluke. That's all it was, and you're gonna be so terrible this year. Like, I'm not even worried about the Vikings at this point.
No, not at all.
So, John, go ahead and go into what you were talking about, and let's hear about what does this mean for the Vikings? Are they the basement dwellers at this point? Like,
I think they'll fight it with the Bears. I think. I really do.
I really do.
And one thing about the Lions, tell you the truth, they got to show another year. I mean, to me, I think those guys are fucking just the same old Lions. I mean, they haven't done anything. They're one game above 500. Who gives a fuck? You know what I mean?
So
we do that fucking yearly almost.
Let me ask you guys this because of how this is falling apart. Who gets the basement? Who gets the basement this year?
It's a fight between the Bears and the Vikings, man. Seriously, it's going to be.
That's what I believe too.
Who gets it?
If I got to pick right now, I say the Vikings.
John,
I'm gonna have to say I'm gonna say the Bears.
Ken,
I'd say the Vikings. I think the Bears did a little bit more to make themselves competitive this year.
First to worst, baby. First to worst.
Why I say the Bears is because they don't got a good backup. If Justin Fields gets hurt, and he's a running quarterback, and he's always injured. He hasn't played a healthy season yet.
So let's do this. I think this will be an interesting segment real quick. Just we'll go around the horn, and we'll start with Ken. Obviously, the Packers have the best defense in the division. It's like not even close. Who has the worst defense in the division at this point? Because the other three are pretty fucking bad.
I would say probably the Vikings, and I think there's a decent gap between them and Chicago and the Lions. At least they have something that resembles a defense, where the Vikings have just gutted everything out of it.
Yeah, if the Lions are going to do anything, their defense has to improve. I don't see that's where they're going to make themselves better.
They at least have a couple of pieces.
I think that the Lions are going to be better.
They'll be better than last year in their defense.
The Lions had one of the worst defenses in the whole league last year.
But
though.
okay, they said we fixed the secondary, but did you?
But they did like we did. They came on in the second half of the season, man. Their defense like improved a lot.
What I noticed about Holmes, he likes one-hit wonders, and he likes fucking players with ACL tears, and he likes fucking people that just fucking have like one lucky fluke season. You know what I mean? That's what he does. And he hopes and prays that fucking they're good the following year, and then he brings them in. Just like Jark, he took a chance on him. He did all right, but he didn't do great. I mean, he overpaid for him. $10 million. That was over. They overpaid him big time for that.
What's up, A-Dub? So
what's up?
A-Dub just joined.
What's up, man?
What we're talking about, A-Dub. First of all, Dalvin Cook not being on the Vikings this year, does that mean that the Vikings will be in the basement? And then after that, I want you to tell me who's the worst defense in the division, because the Vikings, the Lions, and the Bears have pretty bad defenses. Who's going to be the worst this time? The Packers obviously have the best in the division. Go ahead, A-Dub, take it over.
Well, if I had to touch up on the part about Dalvin Cook, every part of me thinks that move for them releasing him, that had to be part of a long-term plan for them to be able to pay off Justin Jefferson, because I did see a part where they was talking about it was possible they was going to try to pay off Justin Jefferson that big-time money as far as $30 million a year to play, which may be smart, but it cripples your cap in the worst way to where you're not going to get anybody else. And also, if I had to put any emphasis on why I think might have the worst defense, personally, from my perspective, it could be Minnesota, because you're going to, like, considering all the guys that you did let go from, you replaced Patrick Peterson with somebody young. You had to replace Zadarius Smith with somebody young. You had to let go of Dalvin Tomlinson, replace him.
Yeah, it looks like Daniil Hunter might be traded now.
Yeah, that's another cornerstone veteran that's gone, along with Eric Kendrick. So I look at all these older guys that may be gone, and I'm thinking, what are you going to look like when it comes to trying to get younger?
It's all leadership, all loudmouth guys in the locker room, man.
Harris is not the guy no more.
I mean, last year's draft they had actually was a total bust. The whole fucking.
I wouldn't doubt it if this was his last year. I wouldn't doubt it if Harrison Smith's last year was this year.
Yeah, I can see it.
And the same can also be said for Kirk Cousins too. Like, are they going to still try to extend Kirk Cousins any longer, or is this going to be it for him?
Well, actually, if they got to pay JJ,
he's going to get killed this year, bro. He's going to get killed.
They're going to look for a quarterback in the draft, so they got a contract, a rookie contract.
This is the year
for
to
4 or
do
5
it
years.
too. Let's be honest. If the Vikings have a shitty season, which I could see the logistics of them having a shitty season, this is the year to draft a quarterback, man. There's a bunch of good ones. You could go late in the first round, middle of the first round, get a really good quarterback to develop. This would be the time for Kirk Cousins to be skirted out of here and to get a new guy. Real quick, A-Dub, who gets the basement in the division this year?
If I gotta be honest on that, either is good. It could be between the Vikings or the Bears. Like, I was looking at the Bears like, sure, they may have improved, but
who do you hate the worst, man? That's pretty much.
No. Who do you think gets the basement between those two teams?
The toss-up, bro.
Where I get it is because Kirk Cousins, he never gets hurt. And we're Fields.
But you say that, Don. This could be the year, bro. Everything's going bad for the Vikings, man.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Everything is going bad for them.
This legit feels like they're rebuilding. I'm sorry.
They're tanking, bro. They're purposely. There he is. What's up?
That word. Now look. Let's make a very clear divide here. Let's make a very clear difference between people saying like, "Oh, the Packers are rebuilding." We have a great roster. We have so many great pieces that can keep us afloat. We're not rebuilding. We're retooling at this point. We're revamping. Now the Vikings, dude, they're fire sailing. They're just rampant. They're good guys. That's called a rebuild right there. They are redoing what they have previously been doing.
That's what the Bears did last year, man. They got 3 wins. I'm telling you, they're going to be 3-4 wins. That's it. Vikings are done.
But we're not fire selling Aaron Jones. We're not fire selling Jay Alexander. We're not getting rid of our good guys because we're not rebuilding.
They're all locked in for a while.
Like, we are young enough that we don't have to rebuild. We can just start, progressing with what we got.
Technically, I think we're the youngest team in fucking division right now.
Probably. Isaac, welcome to the show. I want you to touch on both aspects real quick since we just talked about him. Dalvin Cook, what does that mean for the Vikings? Who wins the basement this year? And after that, we were doing who has the worst defense in the division, in your opinion?
Okay. So, first of all, the Bears are in the basement. The Bears.
I would go with the Bears too.
They don't have.
I don't think Minnesota will be worse than the Bears. I just don't. I don't see it.
Yeah, I mean, they don't have a quarterback. You know what I mean? Like, Cousins can actually throw a ball. You know what I mean? Like,
And they have Justin Jefferson. I'm sorry, but Claypool and Moore, that's not this deadly duo that you guys are pretending it is. It really isn't. But go ahead, Isaac. Sorry.
They keep hyping up Claypool, and Claypool hasn't done nothing. Like, ever since he's been a Bear, like, I haven't seen anything. And they keep blaming.
Even his last 2 years as a Steeler, he really didn't do much, to be honest.
Yeah.
No. He had a great first year. That was it, man.
He had a great first year, but only because of the touchdowns. If you go look at his actual production,
you're right.
He was a world. He just had a shitload of touchdowns. That was about it.
And
he beat his coverage. They were underestimating him.
Ever since Fields became the quarterback for the Bears, Mooney has been declining. Mooney was he was projecting a little bit up before Fields got there, and all of a sudden he fell off a cliff.
Well, the first few games, though, with Dalton, he still was. Mooney was getting the ball.
Yeah.
With
as
Fields,
far as your second part of your question, I'd say the worst defense is going to go to the Vikings. You can't just have a bunch of young. You can't have a bunch of young secondary, and you think, Jerry, they got a good hire, for a defensive coordinator, Brian Flores. At the same time, these young kids take 2 or 3 years to develop. You don't have a Jair Alexander back that develops right away.
Well,
you got to
I get that they got Brian Flores, but even Michael Jordan couldn't make his kids good at basketball. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you're working with shit, sometimes it's just shit. I'm sorry.
But I'm not gonna stay here long. I gotta go. I gotta fucking do something real quick. But I just want to say one thing. Vikings. Why is it so hard for you guys to say you're rebuilding? Why is it we're retooling.
We're getting
rid of many of your main players that you've been fucking shoving down our throats are top 5, top 3, top whatever, top shit. You guys are fucking garbage. You're rebuilding. Fucking Cousins is fucking on a fucking what is it? That hourglass sand that's pouring out.
Yeah.
Pretty soon his time is running out. Like, you guys always fucking say Cousins is one of the top quarterbacks in the league, but he's just nothing but a fucking, a guy will provide you stats. He has done nothing for your organization ever since he's become a Viking. He's only had 1 playoff win. Was it 1 or 2? I don't know. Well, whatever. He fucking sucks. So
I think
Vikings, you're in for a rough fucking, you're in for a rough go these fucking next couple years.
He's kind of like a gypsy in a way where this gypsy will make you okay, look, Kirk Cousins is the stripper that makes the dude think that the stripper likes him. You know what I mean?
He's just a polished turd.
You like that? You like that? You like
Christian
that?
Rockstar.
Duping you for your money, buddy.
Dude, like he's the Ned Flanders of the NFL.
But like I'm saying, like a gypsy will make you think that they're kind and they're a wonderful person and they're like this great atmospheric answer and all this stuff. In the moment you fall asleep, it steals everything that you own.
Yep. And
a terrible person. That's Kirk Cousins. He's gonna trick you into thinking that he's this really great player. And the moment that anything happens alarmingly or any pressure, he's kind of like a worse Tony Romo because he's not as good as Tony Romo, but he's kind of the same guy.
Yeah, Vikings can keep saying, "Oh, we got Justin Jefferson." Well, my answer to that, we got Jair Alexander that shut his ass down.
Yeah. Oh, but look, when Jair Alexander has help, okay, go watch the fucking highlights when Jair Alexander one-on-one all by himself fucking demolished him like 75% of that game.
Yeah, like
we exposed them. We exposed them that game, man.
He jammed him on the line and he touched his shoulder and he started crying. He started calling his helmet on a referee. You know what I mean?
If you took anything away from that game, the first thing you had to be thinking about is Justin Jefferson cannot handle physical coverages out there.
No, you can't.
If you're able to jam him and get physical with him at the line of scrimmage, knock him off his routes, then you actually can take him down.
Well, guys, the defensive scheme was bracketing, though, so we had help. Now, look, if the safety is standing 20 yards behind Jair Alexander, while Jair Alexander takes this motherfucker's lunch money, he can't even get 5 yards past him, I'm sorry, but that's not help. That's Jair Alexander beating this dude's ass one-on-one. I don't give a shit if the team was bracketing. I don't give a shit about that.
You can watch in the plays, the safety comes like 2 minutes after the play is over. You know what I mean? Fucking, safety help. Yeah, fucking 2 minutes after the play is over. It comes,
you know what I hate about that too? You know what I hate about that too? Every fucking play, unless your safety is playing man-to-man or blitzing, is built for safety help. That's the whole point of having two safeties. I mean, did you know that your safety helped on that play? Oh, you mean he did his job?
He's doing his job, yeah.
And
not to mention our pass rush has been a much better part of the defense the last couple seasons. You get after the quarterback and you force them to throw it early, you're throwing it right into the teeth of our secondary. You're forcing them to make a play.
Aaron Jones breaking off a 60-yard run, and they're like, well, your fullback blocked a guy for him. You're like, okay.
And
that's the lead blocker usually.
Why wouldn't you have safety help on Justin Jefferson? He's a top 3 wide receiver in the league. You gotta have fucking, you know what I mean?
But that's the excuse that they make so that it somehow exonerates the fact that Jair Alexander not only gritted on his face but beat the shit out of him all game.
Is that like when they had three defenders on Adams when Adams went 1, 2, 3?
Lazard, not Adams.
Well, that was Lazard. Because Lazard blocked 3 guys at once. But Adams,
he blocked 3 of them.
I've seen him get triple teamed and Rodgers still hits him.
So Adams was a monster.
You know that.
Well, Adams and Rodgers had a connection, bro. They could just get open.
You know that prison thing where they pull out their pocket and make that person grab the pocket. That's what Jair Alexander did to Justin Jefferson.
I wish they had pockets on their pants so he could have done that. That would have been the best, man. If Jair Alexander was standing over him, he was like, "Here's my pocket, bro.
Hold this real quick."
Oh man, could you, dude? Jair Alexander's looking at the ref, going, "Did you see that he kicked my ass? Like, what the fuck?"
And another thing I want to say is, Lions, you did improve, but you guys need to calm down.
Yeah,
you need to do something before you talk. You know what I mean? You guys been all walk all throughout your life. You know what I mean? So if you talking,
who's the pressure more on this year, us or them?
By far, we're not expected to be that, dude. This is the beauty about having a brand new quarterback like Jordan Love. It's kind of like when we had Rodgers and we got rid of Favre. dude, the pressure wasn't on us at that point. It was like, oh, Favre's gone, Packers suck. Okay, well, we're going to show you that we don't suck, and we're going to kick your ass now. There is no pressure on us. The Lions,
No
dude,
pressure.
you know what's funny, too? They've never been in this position. They've
No.
never been in this position before.
They've never been a football team.
No,
exactly.
The pressure, dude,
They're frauds at the moment until they do it, man. I got to see them do it first.
If they don't do it, this will be an astronomical fucking meltdown, bro. It really will.
Well,
Well, they even said,
Especially when we do it.
they're kind of
Well,
worried
here's the
too.
thing,
Like if
Lions,
Goff, like,
Lions fans.
Oh, go
Sorry,
ahead,
what
Derek.
I was saying, a Lions fan did say before that as far as this season goes, anything less than 10 plus wins this year is a disappointment for Detroit, especially with the expectations on their shoulders this year. Like a lot of people,
guys straight out about that. I asked them straight out. I go, if you guys don't get 10, if you don't get double-digit wins, it's a failed season for you. They're like, absolutely. So they're expecting 10 wins, bro.
it's their superpower to be disappointed.
See, they
know what that is, bro. That you are so right, bro. That is so right. Somebody make that a meme. Make that a freaking meme.
They call it Heart of a Lion. I call it Paper Tiger shit, bro. I really got, dude. I'm going to give it to you, John Dorn, next. But I just want to say real quick, why don't you fucking do it for once before you talk about it? Like, why don't you just sit there and you just wait? Just sit there and just wait and just be like, you know what? Once we kick everyone's ass, then I'm going to blow the fuck up on everyone. Fine. I will accept that. But to sit here before the season's even started and you've never once convinced anybody that your team was worth a shit in the entire Super Bowl era, why don't you just shut the fuck up for a little bit and we'll see what happens? You know what I mean? Go ahead, John Dorn.
I don't know. I just think they had a fucking lucky fluke season last year. Because you look toward the end of the season, they played us twice, and our offense was horrible last year. I mean, it was horrible the whole fucking season. And then they've had to play the Bears, which they were fucking tanking. That's another 2 wins right there. So that's fucking 4 wins right there. You know, it's like they got us in a bad time. You know, down year, just like fucking like the Bears, same time but down year. That's the only time they can beat us. It's just like with the third game, they always beat you 3 in a row. But the third game, we shut all our fucking guys down by end of the first quarter or second quarter.
I think they're talented. I think they got a talented roster. I think they should be able to win the division. But I mean, John Dorn loves to tell this to everybody that it really is same old Lions sometimes. Like
it is same old Lions. Totally proven.
It is same old line. John Dorn is absolutely correct.
I'm not saying this will happen, but they are actually panicking if Goff gets injured. That backup is just garbage. Nate Suffield.
What do they got?
I mean, so like they'll be in real big trouble if Goff goes down for any type of injury.
Actually, he's not even looking good at fucking OTAs.
If they lose anybody in any key position, they're done. I think.
Not just Nate. They'll tell you, and Hooker out of Tennessee should be somebody to worry about too.
Oh yeah. I forgot they picked him up.
That's something that I need to see from Love this year. I can't watch him go down or get hurt. I can't see it. You have to initially
to
actually start your career. You have to stay healthy, man. You cannot get hurt, or else I'm not gonna lie. Like, look, Packers fans are impatient. Packers management is clearly impatient over the years. If you start out your career and you're just getting hurt all the time, we'll probably get rid of you pretty fast. That's probably what will happen. And we don't have any backups. Although, Isaac, go ahead and say what you're going to say, and then I'm going to move us into our next topic of conversation, someone that Ken's never heard about before.
Oh, you're the one that didn't get his name right.
Well, all I'm going to say is if Love ain't doing his job, Clifford's going to be the next GOAT. Clifford, so baby.
Here we go. His name is Sean Clifford. Apparently, now look, I've looked into this like a lot ever since rival fans have been posting this shit. I can't find any actual evidence where anyone is saying that Clifford is outdueling Love. Like this, I think someone just conjured this shit up and just circulated around social media, because I'm not joking. I can't find anything on this anywhere.
Yeah,
it's love hate, bro. It's love hate. It's love passion. That's all that is.
So,
Yeah, what I think.
And
just real quick, I just want to give the topic. All the rival fans are saying that Sean Clifford is out dueling Jordan Love, and we should be worried. Go ahead, Ken. Start us off.
Yeah, what I think it is they saw the reports that Sean Clifford had an excellent 2-minute drill drive. One, not a whole practice, a 2-minute drive that he did excellent in. Does not mean he's outdoing him. That's just cherry picking the information.
So just so everybody knows, the with Sport Heroics thing, they are the worst news outlet, media outlet, or whatever you want to call them, article outlet on the fucking planet.
Yeah,
Dude, they literally just make shit up and then make a headline that they think that people will click on.
Clickbait.
Yeah. So if it came from them, that's why I can't find anything on it, because it's not real. That place makes shit up constantly.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh,
what are we talking about? They're in OTAs, man.
Yeah, like
What
Ken
good
was talking
2 minutes ago,
about.
that
It
was
was
it.
just a
And
simple
as far-
drill.
And as far as I'm concerned about OTAs, you can't look too much in OTAs and say that what you see there is going to be everything you can see in a regular season. Like, folks been blowing that out of proportion way too much and too long during the off season.
Yeah. It's like Brett Hundley.
OTAs is just a way to check the progression of your rookies and all your guys to see where they're at in the playbook, man, before you start, get into – I mean –
Brett Hundley looked good in OTAs and shit like
yeah,
that. But then,
right.
once the
Fucking
defense
A,
was
bro.
actually coming at him,
Right,
he couldn't
by the way,
use
fucking Brett Hundley looked real good.
By the
He
way,
beat the Bears.
Hundley owns the Bears.
Yeah.
He does. He holds the belt on the Bears as well. He's undefeated against them. Look, this person is just says Facebook user. I'm sorry. I wish I knew who you were, but that's good insight. Now I think we fully understand that someone's just bullshitting, creating a clickbait title. Man, this dude didn't do no. Oh, it's Simon. Oh, all right,
Bro, even if he had a great OTA, that's what he's supposed to do.
Yeah, this is basically that's what it came down to. Is Jordan Love actually threw a touchdown? A couple of plays that they were running before, but then Jordan Love missed. Targeted a couple of receivers. Then Clifford came in. He threw a touchdown. That's where people are getting he outdueled Jordan Love, even though Jordan Love already threw a touchdown. I mean,
no, I've seen those 2-minute drills. They keep posting them on Instagram, and Love looks like he's doing pretty damn good. I mean, he's hitting guys over the middle. He's hitting his guys on the outside. He's hitting wide open guys. He's not making bad decisions. So everything that we're doing, this just ties back into so now that the Sean Clifford thing is dead, and that's what we wanted to do on the show, was kill that ridiculous fucking shit that people are talking about. I'm going to go into look, Green Bay actually might have a legitimate chance to at least compete for a wild card spot. Maybe they don't get one. Maybe, I truly believe, though, with our roster, how it's set up, and Jordan Love is going to be able to run Matt LaFleur's offense. Matt LaFleur's offense doesn't have to be ran by anybody else but himself this time. And we have in my opinion, the best 1-2 punch in the whole league at running back. Our receivers got better. They're developing. Dude, I can't wait to see Dobbs and Watson on the field.
Dobbs supposedly has got an insane connection with Love now.
Yeah.
They keep talking this up. Granted, again, OTA, so take it with a grain of salt.
Good too.
We also have multiple tight ends that we can look forward to. Let's see what they're made of, man. We might actually have something here. Our offensive line is good. It's going to be good again. It might not be the best, but I'm willing to bet that our offensive line could be top 7. Our defense, it better be top 5, or else I'm going to blow a gasket. We have one of the best defenses by far in the league.
Bro, 8 first rounders? 8 first rounders on our defense?
If Barry doesn't make work with this defense this year, then he needs to get the fuck out of here. But I truly believe he can do it. We can win 10 games, guys. I really believe that. call us homers, say whatever you want to say, rival fans. But I'm gonna go around the horn. I'm gonna let Isaac go first because I know he wants to leave soon.
Sure. Thanks,
We're
man.
just gonna go all the way around the horn. The Packers can win 10 games this year. I'm telling you.
Yeah, like what's called John Kuhn was looking at the team and watching the team at OTAs. He says, "I see nothing."
Youngest team he's ever seen.
Yeah, youngest team. He said the fastest team he's ever seen, the more stronger team, because like down the roster, we got some young guns. They're just ready. They're hungry. They're ready to get in there.
That's a great word because a team that's hungry and a team that's complacent, the hungrier team could, steal one.
For greatness.
Definitely. So don't think you're going against a Packer team that's just going to lay down, on the field. We're going to bring it out there, especially at home at Lambeau. We got to defend Lambeau. So you come to Lambeau and thinking you're getting a win, that's not going to happen.
If you think any different, Quay Walker will punch your coach, motherfucker.
And the ghost of Lombardi will slap you with his hat. So,
as long as the ghost of Ted Thompson doesn't come back, I'm good with it.
Anyways, fellas,
that was a bad joke. Sorry.
So
the ghost of Ted Thompson will come back and take your free agents.
Oh, God.
Go Pack, go baby.
Go Pack, go. All right.
Take care.
Bye, Isaac, man.
Take care, buddy.
So, I'm just gonna go to the next person that I see. We're gonna go with A-Dub. Let bounce off of what I just talked about. Green Bay really can. I'm telling you, they can win 10 games this year. They can.
From my perspective, what it comes down to for them to do so, yes, the defense needs to be as good as it should be as far as top 5. I expect some certain guys on that defense to step up in terms of the bigger roles they got. Guys like Devontae Wyatt or TJ Slayton. More than likely, even Kingsley Enagbare should follow up on the production he gave us last season during his rookie year.
I don't think Enagbare is someone that's on the hot seat, but I do think that guys like Devontae Wyatt, guys like you said, like Slayton, I think this is Slayton's last chance.
I think that should definitely make or break year for Slayton.
From what I've seen, he's the starting nose tackle this year. So this is Slayton's time to show us what he's made of. And I'm telling you, if he doesn't do it, we're drafting someone to replace him next year. Enagbare played well enough that I think we're just going to keep him no matter what happens this year.
Yeah.
Devontae Wyatt, if he doesn't show that he improved, I don't know what to do with that guy because it was so bad the first 75% of the season. I can't go off the last few games. You know what I mean? Like, I need to see serious improvement from that guy. Sorry, A-Dub, go ahead.
And here's another thing. Part of me is worried about what is Eric Stokes and Rashawn Gary going to look like as both are recovering from serious injuries they suffered last season. Like, will they be the same productive guys or will they regress or fall off somewhere because of it?
So I can see Stokes getting in trouble on our roster. I could see it. I could see him being looked at to be replaced at some point. I hope to God that's not true, but I could see it. I think Rashawn Gary, and I'm sure you guys will understand what I'm saying. Because of the injury and because of how well he was playing, I could see Rashawn Gary coming back twice as hungry this year. I can see it. I really could.
Yeah. He's apparently way ahead of schedule on his rehabilitation.
It's because of his work ethic. His work ethic is insane. Go look. You ever watch his Instagram? The things he does, that guy's a maniac, bro.
Oh, yeah, he is.
He's the opposite of Eddie Lacy.
Joe loves it.
Go ahead and finish off what you had to say, Deb, and we'll go to Rob.
Yep. That's just one thing about the defense. The only weak point I can see on it so far is going to be the safety position. As far as that area is pretty much unknown. Like, you don't know who's going to actually start at those two positions outside of just Darnell Savage having a spot, but even he's going to have to step up at that position.
There's people that will disagree on me on this, and maybe even justifiably so, but I hate our safety position. I really do. I'm not happy.
I'm in a weak spot right now.
We let the Lions grab Branch from us underneath us.
That's the one that pissed me right off.
That
For some
killed me.
reason, the Packers didn't like him. For some reason, Packers didn't like him for some reason.
Well, you know what? If
He's a one-trick pony. I think he's a one-trick pony.
I did read that he wasn't high on their board. So what I'm going to do is, as a Packers fan, I'm going to trust the process and trust in their instincts, because I do think that Goody does have a pretty good. I think he has good instincts. Like, for the most part, there's some things he's done where I'm like, what the fuck, man? But I think for the most part, Goody's been pretty good. So I'm going to trust in his judgment. Rob, go ahead and take the floor. This man, I'm not gonna lie. I might be disappointed if we don't win 10 games. I want that tattoo on my chest. I might be disappointed if we don't win 10 games.
I want it. Nick, I was going to ask you, man. Since you're already saying 10 games, that means you're conceding your bet almost with.
For me, it's a win-win. I get a tattoo.
And then me and you, we're on 10. We're on 10. I need him to hit 10. So I mean. And yeah, it sounds like you're going to be gladly taking this as a good Packer fan, and
that's not a bad tattoo to get. That's actually a tattoo I'm willing to get. And
no, but the dick face is going to be hilarious. We're going to get a lot of mileage off the dick face, man.
Oh, yeah. No, I think Green Bay is going to prove me wrong, and I'm going to have to get the tattoo, and you guys are going to see me cry.
I love it.
Sounds like it's going to be entertainment.
You know how much that hurts to get tattooed right there on your breastplate? That fucking hurts.
Yeah. The tattoo that I have goes right over my sternum.
What you saying, A-Dub?
I said, to be honest, before this thing got started, I clearly had Green Bay at 8 to 9 wins this year. That was my prediction. But if we get 10, that'll be just as good, too.
Yeah.
We're getting 10, A-Dub. We're getting 10.
Rob, give us the realistic, like, what is this team going to look like? Like, I'm not joking. I look at this team.
Look. We got eight first rounders on the defense, man. Our defense is good. I mean, honestly, if we're not top 5, look, in 21 we ended. Our defense didn't play nothing like how we finished in 2021. I mean, and it's the same guys. We got better, and now we even added more to it. Barry has no excuses, and LaFleur needs to hold him accountable right from the get-go. Make sure this defense on point from day one, from week 1, because we play the Bears week 1, and we need to lay the smackdown on those guys, and we need to start our season off with a big, huge W and a statement in the division showing that we own this. I mean, I know the Bears improved, but you got to give Love is a first-round pick, bro. He's been in this system 3 seasons already. I don't see how he's not going to get 8 wins on that alone, just on his abilities. What we saw against Philly, just a little sample size of it. And I know you can't base a whole season on that, but
we're going to go to you next, John. I know we're going to go to you next, John. I know you're going to love when I say this, though. Aaron Rodgers is no longer the coach. Aaron Rodgers is no longer the management. Aaron Rodgers no longer makes decisions. So, John Dorn, LaFleur needs to grow a set of balls and be a head coach this year, right? He needs to actually be the head. And I don't give a shit about Goody and Murphy and all these guys. LaFleur needs to take the reins and be everything at this point. I don't give a shit that Barry thinks that he has a great scheme. LaFleur needs to sit there and go, look, this is dog shit. I'm not going to play with this anymore. So John Dorn, go ahead and take the reins. LaFleur needs to be a badass motherfucker this year. That's all I'm going to say.
Well, I've seen a thing where he came out and said he's going to be more on the defense. Yep, he's going to be more involved in defense. But one thing about that defense.
I said that last year too, though.
Everybody underperformed last year. Tackling. Everybody. Kenny Clark all the way down the list. All fucking got to work on their fucking tackling.
Wyatt used to get
fucking Savage got fucking burned how many times?
There's two guys that don't. There's 2 guys that don't do that though. Their name is Devondre Campbell and Quay Walker. Those guys make some fucking tackles, man.
Campbell played better. Last year he didn't play as good as he did the year before.
Quay Walker was an animal on the tackles. He does not miss tackles ever.
But
I think he's too fast to miss tackles. He's so fast.
Yeah, I think he's just running through the guys.
Yeah.
Packer fans, acknowledge me.
Hold on. We'll give you time. Give me 1 second. John Dorn, go ahead and finish. We're going to go to Ken, and then we'll go to
Cleveland from Family Guy. Long
Jermaine,
I was thinking Flat Albert, but whatever.
we're gonna give Jermaine his own segment, but John Dorn, go ahead and finish. We'll go to Ken, and I'll get to you, Jermaine.
Right?
Right?
Or even give him
Well, I think with the defense, we gotta be. We don't have to be top 5. As long as we're top 10, keep us games. They gotta tackle better. Definitely gotta tackle
Top
better.
5. I hate when people say top 10 because we should have higher expectations than that.
Top 5, exactly. Top 5.
It has to be.
But anyways,
I'm with you, Nick.
Our Wii team is going to be a lot better. It's going to be pretty damn good yet. The
And our special teams is pretty decent.
the only thing I'm scared of is our kicker. We never seen that fucker before. We got a brand new kicker. We just, it's like, come on, man.
Yeah, but Crosby can't even kick the ball in the end zone anymore.
Oh, yeah, but at least he was fifth in fucking in kickers and all kickers last year. He was
And
so fucking
Crosby's
good.
up there in age too.
Crosby's still on the roster technically, isn't he?
No, he's gone. He sold his house and everything. He's
Yeah,
gone.
he sold his house. Apparently bought something in Tennessee.
The kicker, I don't know. We might have to go some growing pains with that.
Hey, we got Jordan Love. We got a new kicker. We got to restart somewhere, right? Like,
but this offense, I'm gonna love this offense, man. I think it's gonna be deadly fucking offense, and
it's gonna be smashed
Bears
down.
gonna find out
San
week
Francisco
one
49ers offense is what
when
it's
their
gonna
fucking defense can't stop fucking a passing or a running. We're gonna run it right down fucking Bears' throat, and we're gonna
Right down
fucking
their
pass it
throat.
right down their fucking throat. And
All right,
we're gonna be a high scoring game. It'll be like 38 to fucking Bears 10.
All right, so Ken, it's a disappointment at this point if we don't win 8, 9, 10 games. Like, tell us what you realistically think at this point, because again, Vegas is starting to up our wins. The experts are starting to up our wins. Every week it seems like all of a sudden the Packers are supposed to get more and more wins. Is what's happening.
Yeah, I would say our floor would be 7 that I'd be okay with. I wouldn't be happy, but as long as we're showing something, 7 I'd be okay with. But I'm thinking more in the 8, 9 range, honestly, more with 9. I'd like to see 10, but I don't know if we're gonna fully squeak that out just yet. But
Why the Vikings just gave us another one?
Yeah.
The Vikings
that might be our
Vikings gave everybody. The Vikings gave everybody
They
one.
were sweeping the Bears, so that's
Well, we already know that one's a free win.
So Chuck, we didn't say that he was better than Love. What we did was we squashed that whole bullshit that people were saying that this dude out-dueled Love, and that actually didn't happen. It was a false report. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know where you get where we said that Clifford was
Some people
better
just
than
can't keep up, man.
Yeah, he just
never
wanted
said
to bitch about something, so he had to make something up.
Yeah, people were bullshitting. So here we go. We're gonna give. How do I? Here we go.
Jermaine, ain't that who it is? There you go.
We're gonna give you the full floor. Go ahead and say what you got to say. We'll acknowledge you.
The fact that you guys still saying that y'all gonna win 9 or 10 games is just laughable. I'm just gonna put that out there. You guys are not gonna win under 7 games, and that's just a guarantee. You guys are gonna be last, and we're gonna win more games than you. We're gonna win 2 games, week 1 and week 18. That's a guarantee.
You got a good backup quarterback or something? You got a good backup quarterback or something?
No. We got the light skinned Mike Vick. That's what we got over here as our quarterback.
You got a generic Mike Vick? Is that what you're saying?
You said that light skinned Mike Vick. We wind it back. The light skinned Mike Vick.
A Walmart special.
Okay.
Michael Vick with clip cornea.
I didn't stutter.
I don't see no one chasing him for commercials, man.
That comparison almost makes sense if the guy can run, but can he throw like Vic? Not like
no.
Not anywhere near close.
That's a weird way to admit that Justin Fields fights dogs, but whatever.
I mean, dude, honestly, man, how many games does your quarterback have to play before you see? I mean, because his first 20 games, 20 games he's played?
Over
24.
It's a learning process.
He's
It's a learning process.
He's 5 and 20.
It takes 3 years to develop a quarterback. And in year 3, my boy is going to be one of the best quarterbacks out there in the NFL.
All right, so then if he's not, we got you on the record saying you're going to admit that he sucks ass.
He gets scared of a shadow. He can't even sit in a pocket.
That's fine. We're going to be better. Justin Fields is going to be 100% better.
What are you better at?
Well, so, Jermaine, let me ask you a question. Who was the last quarterback that was one of historically the worst passers in history to be a great quarterback?
Jim McMahon.
What?
Bro, do you know he was like the 21st or 22nd quarterback when they won the Super Bowl? You know that, right?
He was
in a league that didn't have 32 teams at the time, too. I mean, bro, he was like the bottom like 20% of the league. All he did was hand the ball to Walter, bro, or throw the ball so far out there, Willie Gault would run under and catch it. Shut the hell up, man. He was a shitty quarterback.
I'm gonna say this right here. I'm gonna say this right here on camera. If I was to take today between Jay Cutler and Aaron Rodgers, I would 100% take Jay Cutler.
Put down the crack pipe. Come on.
And that's serious right now.
Hey, is Cutler in the Hall of Fame? Is Cutler going to be in the Hall of Fame?
The numbers don't lie.
The Bear Hall of Fame, maybe, but I don't know about the Hall of Fame.
Rodgers destroys Jay
Fucking
Cutler.
Cutler's thrown more touchdowns to Packers than he has anybody else.
What?
That's a bad team.
Hey, bro, you guys are probably going to put Favre and Rodgers in the Bears Hall of Fame because they're way better than any quarterback you guys ever had.
He believes it. The sad part about it, he believes it, and he takes off.
Yeah. Go ahead, take.
Oh my Lanta!
And hey, I was gonna tell him, and I was gonna tell him when you mentioned Jay Cutler, that reminds me of the idea of me thinking you have a Jay Cutler at quarterback right now. And the reason I could say that is because every game that Justin Fields has played against Green Bay, he's turned the ball over against our defense, and I have not seen anything special that says he's going to be any different this year.
He's under. All you got to do is put him under pressure, and that's it. And we're going to show him. Week 1, we're going to expose we're going to expose him. He's going to get the pressure of a lifetime.
One thing that I hate that Bears fans try to bring up. Well, if Jay Cutler didn't get hurt, first of all, you do realize not only his backup but his third stringer outplayed him. If Jay Cutler didn't get hurt, we win that game like 30 to fucking nothing. They wouldn't have even scored. His backups came in and scored all the points for them and kept them in the game.
Shit, Kyle Orton played himself into a career with that game.
It was funny to me. Jay Cutler didn't look that hurt to me. Like there was a portion of the game I seen him on an exercise bike.
He was on the bike. Remember, he was on the bike. He kind of looks like he's just defeated. He's not hurt. He's just defeated.
He was thinking about bear hunting.
He was like, same old bullshit. He was same old bullshit. He was defeated. We beat him down, bro.
So this whole if Jay Cutler didn't get hurt, it's like, yeah, you're right. It would have been worse if he didn't get hurt. Dude, his backups came in and actually played pretty good. Other than the BJ Raji interception, which I'm sorry, that's an inexperienced quarterback mistake that they're gonna make. He had the check down and he didn't see that BJ Raji pulled back. He got the interception for the touchdown. That's an inexperienced quarterback. But Jay Cutler probably would have did something even worse than that, 5-fold. You know what I mean? Like, I hate when people say shit like that. But now
there you go, 2-11. Somebody just posted his record, 2-11 against us, Jay Cutler. 2-11. Oh, he's a Packer killer there. Holy shit!
He's way better than Aaron Rodgers. Come on.
Right.
He said numbers don't lie too. Let's
just Bear fans lie. That's why, dude. Bear fans lie.
He's a living fuck out of Jay Cutler.
Yeah, but the scary part, he actually fucking believes it.
Man.
That's just the idiocy you would see every other day.
That's why I never take that. Bickham's apparently living in Chicago now.
Hey, I'm still waiting on the part where this guy is gonna have to own up to the post where he made like the Bears are supposed to be the 2.0 version of the greatest show on turf.
Oh yeah, I seen that one. Yeah.
He's crazy, man. I mean, look. I see the Bears improving, man. They only won 3 games last year. They put some money into it. They did improve in areas. I mean, if they get 6 games, 6 wins, that's improving.
The worst team in the league. How do you not improve? You can start drafting baseball players to play for your football team, and you'd improve.
If they don't at least double their wins from last year, it Poles gave up everything. Is he on the hot seat? Should they be canning that guy?
They won't.
Because
what they'll do is they'll make it out to be that Justin Fields is the scapegoat. It's all Justin Fields' fault. It was a bad pick because Poles didn't pick. He did not pick Justin Fields.
It's not his pick. I get it.
What will happen is Justin Fields will take all the blame. He'll be let go. His career will be considered ruined at that point, and Poles will get a fresh, clean slate after that. That's what will happen.
Well, I for one, am not going to let Bear fans down. Forget that when they hired him, he said he's going to take over the North. He still is yet to take over the North. His first.
I think he's meant that he's taking over the North for the basement. That's what he was fucking saying.
Oh, there we go. Well, you should have. Maybe we'll just add that in, or someone could add that in as a typo with a little arrow. Freaking ridiculous.
We're taking over the basement. That's all. That's what he meant in the North.
This motherfucker can't even take over the North Poles.
Well, and the Vikings, they just threw their hat in there. They're going for the basement too. They're like, let's go.
I'm gonna tell you what. While the Bears might have improved in some areas, I still have yet to see it come together. I'm still thinking they're weak in some areas defensively.
Well, when I see what happened,
defensive line or their secondary still has something.
I'm tired of hearing that they got 2 mid-level fucking linebackers, and that somehow exonerates the fact that they got rid of the best middle linebacker in the whole fucking league.
Bills.
Motherfucker, dude, this dude had the best stats. He was a first-team All-Pro, and you got 2 mid-level. First of all, the guy from the Eagles doesn't even play. He's not even good. The dude from the Bills, I'll give you, Edmonds is pretty good, but he's nowhere near. So
it's overpaid.
I can't stand hearing about these mid-level guys that they got, and that somehow made them better than getting rid of the best linebacker in the whole fucking league. That's insane to me.
Yeah,
this is a make or break for every team, man. It's a prove it season, man, for everybody.
It's not make or break for us. It's not make
or break
for us.
No, not for. I mean, it's a prove it season. Everybody, as soon as Jordan Love has it as a decent season, everyone's going to shut up and be like, "Holy shit! Did the Packers hit gold again for the 3rd time in a row?"
Exactly.
The Lions have all the pressure this year. They have all the pressure.
Yes, they do.
The Vikings, they are rebuilding. I'm sorry, but once you see the Vikings losing all their games this year and they're sitting there going, well, this is what we expected. We're going to get a good draft pick. We're going to fire sale everybody. And the Bears, once the Bears are not good again, they're going to sit there and go, fuck, we have to redo this again for the millionth.
Why Justin Fields?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it's going to be.
For us, let's say we suck this year. We're going to sit there and go, well, we were supposed to suck, and we have a brand new quarterback. So
now we got a level where we're at. Now we know where we're at. Now we can fix it.
Exactly. Now
all right, let's define suck right now, because I want to understand what you guys think suck is.
6 games, 6 wins, 5
6
wins. That would suck.
That was in my book. That's fucking stuck.
So look, we have a Saints fan. His name is James. I wanted James to jump on because James is one of these people that likes to go in the NFC North groups and like stir up drama and make fun of Bears, Lions, and Vikings fans because James understands. Hey man, at least the Packers have a great history. They've been great teams. So like when he makes fun of us, it's in jest. Whereas with the Lions, Bears, and Vikings fans, he's being serious where he's like, no, you guys just suck. So I want James to give us some outside perspective as a Saints fan. There was a Bears fan that was just on who was saying, like, the Bears, what was he saying? That Justin Fields, this is 3rd year. So this means because it's his 3rd year that he's going to be great and all this bullshit. And it's like.
He's another Michael Vick.
Yeah, he's like he's a lighter Michael Vick is what he said. That's
Michael
what.
Vick could actually win games. So
Nick, I'm so glad you went solo on that guy because we're gonna save that clip, man. That guy's a dumbass.
He was saying that the Bears. He was like, okay. So we had a segment where we were talking about. Look, I actually think because of the roster that we have, the defense that we have, the running game that we have, the offensive line, and LaFleur actually gets to coach. We don't have Aaron Rodgers manipulating the coaching or the management anymore. I think that Green Bay, we should realistically hope for close to 10 wins. I think it's possible as long as Jordan Love is not, absolute garbage. And I don't think that's crazy. Do you?
It's not crazy. I normally don't say this because the NFL, at least now, is a full 17 games. But I personally think like the first 4 games for the Packers is probably going to show them what they have to expect for the rest of the season.
Yep.
You're absolutely right.
So couldn't you see? We're not saying this is a definite. We're just saying I don't think it's crazy to see Jordan Love working LaFleur's offense very much so in a San Francisco 49ers style, running the ball, pounding the ball with a good offensive line. The defense, if they show up to be top 5 this year, I can see as long as Love is just moderate, if he's just game managing very well and he's learning and developing, I don't think it's crazy. 9 or 10 wins should be something that we can hope for.
Okay. I will say this, and excuse me, I'm going off on a tangent in a second, but I think Matt LaFleur is a very capable coach, and obviously this comes from me living in Tennessee, so I had to watch the Titans, and obviously Matt LaFleur was their offensive coordinator for a while, and then he went to the Packers, but had like 3 straight 13-win seasons, and then last year kind of fell under. But when I say I'm going off on a tangent, so for example, after Breeze retired, the next year, obviously, even I thought the Saints were only going to get about 5 wins. And then that season, we got 9 wins under the combination of Jameis Winston, Trevor Siemian, Taysom Hill, and Ian Book. But it was and I'm not going to take the credit away from Taysom and Jameis and the work they were able to do. But, I mean, definitely Sean Payton still being there, having the consistency definitely allowed. Because, I mean, we all know Taysom Hill is not the best quarterback in the world. But the simple fact he was able to win games with Sean Payton, that's a lot. It says like a lot about Sean Payton as he was as a coach. And I'm not going to say Matt LaFleur is Sean Payton, but he's not that bad of a coach.
And Saints had a really good defense, though.
Yeah, the Saints have that's really true. During that interim that you're talking about, the Saints did have a really good defense at the time, so that really helped propelled the inconsistencies that they may have experienced with that offense during that time of, Drew Brees is no longer here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think we have a similar component to that.
Yeah. Well, I have a question for the Saints fan. How do you feel about Derek Carr being your new quarterback over there so far?
I'm not gonna lie. It's weird because we had to deal with Andy Dalton last season. And a lot of people would say, well, Andy Dalton and Taysom Hill, or Andy Dalton and Jameis Winston put up the same stats together that Derek Carr put up. And I was like, yeah, but the difference is, like, at least with Derek Carr, there was an idea of consistency between there instead of having to flip back and forth between 2 quarterbacks. And then throw Taysom Hill in there every once in a while. So I'm definitely ready for like a little bit more consistency at the QB position as long as Derek Carr is able to stay healthy. And
you guys upgraded. You definitely upgraded.
And Derek Carr is honestly not a terrible quarterback. Like, yeah, we made fun of him when he was with the Raiders just because the Raiders suck. So it's just like, yeah, Derek Carr has to eat that with the Raiders.
Yeah, but Devontae Adams really believes in him. So, I mean, he's got to have some sort of skills for him to totally believe in him like that. I mean, whether the Raiders didn't use him properly or not, I guess we'll find out. You guys are now going to get this is second team, right now. So, we're going to find out if he lights it up and tears it up for you guys, then we all look past him.
Like I said, I normally don't predict like wins and losses like against certain teams. I kind of just predict an overall record because the season's crazy and you can win a game against the Chiefs and then next week lose to the Bears. And it's like, what the fuck just happened?
Yeah.
Well,
I
plus
think-
injuries play a factor.
I think the Saints, the transition of Derek Carr being their quarterback, I think that might last at least around 5 years at minimum with Derek Carr. And I actually think it's kind of genius in a way to transition Derek Carr. It might have been on accident, maybe it's on purpose, but to transition Derek Carr onto the Saints at this time and point where they're in the worst division in the whole league, and it might give Derek Carr this boost of confidence to beat the shit out of the division real quick, win the division, and become maybe one of your marquee quarterbacks, if that makes sense, like in recent time. So Derek Carr is not void of talent. That's not the problem. Derek Carr has these really weird pocket presence issues, kind of like similar to Kirk Cousins, where he freaks the fuck out, fumbles the ball too much, he makes dumb decisions. But if you get him into a place where he wins this division this year and he plays really well with the pieces that you put around him, it actually might come to fruition for you guys where this is a beautiful marriage and Derek Carr's helping you as much as you're helping Derek Carr for the next foreseeable future. And that's just the way that I see it. I actually think that this could be a good marriage.
Yeah,
I
I'm
really
not
do.
gonna lie. I don't see us being like necessarily Super Bowl contenders, and definitely
No.
not like, with his first 2 years.
But you
I can
can
see us being
build off
playoff
of winning this year. You don't have to be Super Bowl contenders right now. You can build off of kicking the shit out of your division this year, making it to the playoffs, and then, going from there. You know what I mean?
You guys got a good ground game over there already, man. And
And I'm
Kamara.
already saying, and I'm saying your division is pretty much up for grabs from my perspective, especially since Tampa Bay is going to be taking.
They're dismantled.
They're the worst team in the league, in my
Another
opinion.
fire sale going on there.
I think Tampa Bay is by far the worst team in the NFL this year.
Yeah.
I don't know. Bears
The thing about, like, because the majority of you guys
Where's Tampa
don't know,
Bay Bob?
always fucking with me in the back check. But like, I talk shit just about like everyone. Like, obviously Nick brought up the NFC North because I will just be talking shit about everyone. Now I have a little bit more respect for the Packers, so I kind of lay down the shit talk on them. But
Hey man, you can shit talk all you want, bro. I'm a grown ass man. I can take it.
Well, because this is what he does. What James does is he pokes the way that we poke him. Like we keep messing with James, so James messes with us back. But when you get like all of a sudden there will come a time where it's like, all right, let's be realistic. Let's have like a real conversation. And then so what you have to do is you have to at least respect an organization like the Packers, because it's like, dude, these guys have been doing it for a long time. They at least seen their team win Super Bowls. You know what I mean? So the other three fan bases, they're just fucking delusional at this point.
Tell them about that one post I put that like made the entire group go fucking crazy.
It was like you said, why don't you stop talking about how many Super Bowls the Packers won and win a Super Bowl yourself? Or it had something to do with that. Like,
Yeah,
you
I
guys
said-
keep talking about 2 Super Bowls in the last 30 years. It's like, how many have you won? And then people just freaked out on it.
Yeah, that's what I said. I said, I was like, hey, Lions, Bears, and Vikings fans, you realize making fun of the Packers for only winning 2 Super Bowls in 30 years isn't the flex you think it is, when collectively you guys have won 0 and collectively you have 1 appearance.
So, this is the way that I look at it. I look at it as someone being like, ha ha, you won multiple Super Bowls. And I'm like, ouch.
What's sad, dude? Half the Lion fans we listen to haven't even seen them win their freaking division. Just think about that. They haven't even seen them win the division.
They haven't won a playoff game.
1991.
Or a playoff game. Yeah, or a playoff game.
Yeah.
The last time the Lions won
Yeah,
the
last-
North, well, it wasn't the North at the time, it was the Central.
It was
What
the
was it,
Central.
1993?
Yeah.
It was the Central.
2002 was
The Lions-
the North.
Yeah, the last time the Lions won, it was the Central. Are you sure it was 1993?
Yeah, dude, it's 93. Yeah, that's how 31 years ago. Went all the way to the NFC Championship game. That was it. With Eric Kramer, I believe. With Eric Kramer, I think.
So basically what we're talking about is I just find James to be extremely humorous in a good way, where It was 1993. He likes to pry at the rival teams because he knows he's going to get him riled up, and there's nothing they can say to him because he's like, well, I'm not an NFC North team fan. I'm a Saints fan.
Yeah, like when I said that, they started throwing shots at the Packers, and I'm like, I don't give a fuck. You can say whatever you want.
I'm not a Packers fan, so go ahead. No,
Bro, I don't care. Anybody can say anything. I don't care, man.
I think let's talk Saints just real quick since you're here. I think the only competition you might run into, because I still don't believe in Atlanta. I just don't believe in Ritter and any of these guys.
Oh, yeah. No, Atlanta, you got to watch out, bro. Don't let them sneak up on you.
I disagree. As much as I believe that Drake London was the right pick, he really didn't ball out like I thought he would last year. The Falcons did get, however, Bijan Robinson, right?
That's what I think is going to be the difference maker for him.
Talk about a
much
beast.
sense because
Bijan Robinson is destined to be a beast. Like, let's be honest.
Yeah, I could actually see the Falcons actually sweeping the Saints.
I found that Bijan Robinson a bit suspect because Atlanta already had a running game developed.
That's what I was thinking.
They
They
have
have
runners
what's
back.
his name, Algier and
They have Algier and Cordero Patterson.
Patterson.
Yeah.
Patterson's
But
do it all back,
Patterson
though.
got hurt 50 times last year.
Yes, he was very injury beat up.
Bijan
I mean, you
Robinson.
can argue that they can like run like a running back by committee, but when you have a talent like Cordero Patterson, it's not going to be by committee.
No, it'll be Cordero Patterson's show, and Bijan Robinson will be learning from him. Now, look, let me tell you what. You do not pass on a guy like Bijan Robinson. Even if you guys were up, you have Alvin Kamara already. You're still going to draft Bijan Robinson. He's that damn good.
I wouldn't doubt it. I mean, it wasn't a bad pick. I just thought it was a questionable one, given they had talent at the running back position. But I see where you're coming from, though. Nick.
And their defense is horrible. They need it. It was kind of like how the Vikings drafted Jordan Addison. I'm like, I get it. I get why you drafted Jordan Addison, but like what you're trying to get at, it was questionable because your defense is so fucking bad. Like you needed a top flight linebacker. You needed a top flight defensive back. Like there's so many things you needed.
This is why everyone was calling the Vikings frauds last year. And it wasn't because they were winning during the regular season. They had the absolute talent, but at least the reason I was calling them frauds, I don't know if I was the first one calling them fraudulent, but
they were the luckiest team in the league.
But when you win, how many games they win? 12, win 10 or 13, win
11.
Win
11 wins came by
11 of your 13 wins are by one score, and your defense has allowed a negative point differential through an entire 17-game season where you won 13 games. That's not good.
How do you have a negative point differential and you won 13 games? That's never happened before. That's like, dude, if you said before the season started,
it did happen. It did happen.
I know, but before the season started, if you said the Vikings will win 13 games, but they will score less than their opponents, you sit there and go, you're fucking crazy. That's impossible, right? But it happened. It happened. Dude,
well,
that just means they got blown out. That just means they got blown out. That's it.
That's why they were frauds, because the games that they did lose, they got blown the fuck out.
That's what I'm saying. They won 10. Yeah. They won like 11 of 13 games.
I still want to know how they beat Buffalo. I still want to know.
And the
because
worst,
Josh
and
Allen
the worst,
made the dumbest decision of his fucking life and didn't hold. He looked right before he hold. Yeah, I don't want to talk about that game. Go ahead, James. Go ahead and finish what you're saying.
So when you have 13 wins, and 11 of those 13 wins are by one score, most of them being field goals, that recipe for success is not going to go into the playoffs. I thought they were at least going to get past the Giants, but apparently Kirk Cousins thinks it's okay to throw for 3 yards on a 4th and 8.
On this show, we predicted that they would lose to the Giants because of the implosions that they had. It just built up. And look, the context to the 11 wins that you're talking about by one score, there's a lot of context to that because there was a lot of those teams and those 11 wins that were horrible football teams.
My team was one of them.
And the Bears were 2 of them. Like, they were barely beating bad teams. But they were like, well, we beat a few good teams, but it was like, look, you also lost by 40 points to a few good teams. You know what I mean? So,
and then they were pounding their chest about
wrong.
coming back from being 33 down against the Colts. And I'm like, you shouldn't have been down 33 points in the first place.
Amazing comeback. One of the greatest comebacks I've ever seen. I'll give Kirk Cousins that and the Vikings, but you're right. You should have never been down 33-0 to a 5-win team to begin with, ever. Go ahead, A-Dub.
Right. And I was gonna mention the worst blowout they could have suffered, 40-3 against the Cowboys.
They got their ass whooped that game. Pretty bad. I don't know. I thought
how does that even happen?
The Cowboys. I think that our ass whooping we gave them was the worst of the season because, dude, not only did Kirk Cousins get 8 fucking, what do you have? He had 3 picks, and they scored 10 points total. It was. They had 3 until the very end of the game where they scored a touchdown. Right? We beat them 40-10.
It was something like that. You know, that killed me because the Saints were still in playoff contention up until the Packers beat the Vikings, and I'm like, I don't know whether to be mad at this or laugh at the Vikings. Because we were going to be eliminated the next week anyways, because that's just what went down. But I was like, I wanted to hold on to hope for one more week, and y'all ruined it for me.
But you knew that was coming, did you not? The whole world could see that. They were like, dude, Green Bay is going to smash you guys. You're just not.
They were frauds.
They were.
Just like the Lions.
You know what's funny, too? On the NFL page, the actual NFL page, I remember reading all these Vikings fans being like, I don't know why people call us frauds. Like, we keep winning. And it's like, dude, if you can't see the writing on the wall, this is why we call you delusional. Because as a Packers fan, I can see when something is going wrong. And it's like, we haven't been playing that good. Now we're going in the playoffs. And it's like, it's kind of sketchy. You know what I mean? But then there's years where I'm like, oh, we're on fire, and we still lose at the very, very end.
And then the Giants take them all.
Give an example to the Vikings last season on another sport because it was like, so I don't know if you guys watch Australian football. You don't have to understand where I'm going with this. But there's a team there, the exact year the Vikings are playing. They're called the Collingwood Magpies. So they had a great record in that AFL season, but every single one of their wins was a come-from-behind win, or they'd be losing by a lot in the first half. And then the second half, they'd miraculously come back. And they only ended up losing like 5 games. And I'm like, see, we're going to get to the finals because in Australia, they call their playoffs the finals. We're going to get to the finals, and they're going to fuck up at least one of those times. And throughout every finals round, it'd be the same recipe. Hey, we're going to go down by a lot of points. We're going to come back and win. And then they get to the preliminary finals right before the grand final, and they're playing the Sydney Swans. And it happened again. They went down by a lot, and they started chipping their way back in the second half, but they ran out of time, and they lost by a point. And I'm like, that's what happens when you have to allow comebacks the entire season.
This is not basketball where you can continually come back. Like, in basketball, you always have a chance. You know what I mean? In baseball, until the last out, right? Like, we've seen it before. In football, in the playoffs especially, there's teams in the playoffs that are so good at this point, you cannot eclipse what you're down from. You know what I mean? Like, if you go down, they're not going to let you back in the game. This isn't the regular season. You're not playing the mid-level teams. You're playing.
That's why I always think of, like, in the playoffs, all the teams here, unless it's like a super sucky division, because those do exist, like the South last year. So unless you're playing a team like the champion of a sucky division, every one of those teams are there for a reason. They deserve to be there. They've played their best football the entire season.
If you're playing the Chiefs or the Eagles and you go down, they're not letting you back in, man. There's no way. Like, you're not going to go down 20 points to the Chiefs and you're like, oh, you know what? I believe we can cut. No, because you know what's going to happen? The second you score a touchdown and you're down by 13, Patrick Mahomes is going right down and scoring again. Like, it just doesn't matter at this point.
Like, you got to remember, like, with football, like, I'm going to, like, compare it to hockey for a second. Like, so in hockey, when you score a goal, there's the face-off. So you have a chance to win it back. In football, when you score, you still have to give it back to the other team. So if you're down 3, 4, 5 possessions, you got to remember, you got to get that possession back because you got to kick it back off them. It means you have to go out there and play defense. And they can do one of two things. They can score or they can run the clock.
Yeah. So look, I'm going to go around the panel again. We're going to get to another topic, but real quick, James, I'm going to ask you 2 questions that were the main questions of this whole show. Okay. Dalvin Cook is no longer going to be on the Vikings. what does that mean for the Vikings? Are they now who's going to be in the basement for the NFC North now because of this? And you can still say the Bears. You can, it doesn't matter. Like, who do you think will be in the basement for the NFC North? And who has the worst defense in the NFC North?
Okay, so I'm gonna say that I think the Bears are gonna be in the basement in the North, and
I agree.
I think the worst defense is still gonna be the Vikings. Like, the Bears' defense is just part of their identity. It's just one thing they tend to be.
They
good
were
at.
horrible at it last year, and they didn't upgrade that much this year. They really didn't.
Yeah, they suck. No, they do, dude. Usually it's defense and running back, but that's what they're more infamous for, defenses and running backs. And they gave away their best running back, and their defense just sucks.
But there's
they still have Justin Fields
marquee
at running
moves.
back, so it's all good.
At least the Lions, who was, I believe, the worst defense in the league last year, at least the
In the
Lions
first 7 weeks, they definitely were, yeah.
They made changes and made big moves, big splashes to change their defense. The Bears, they got 2 mid-level linebackers. I'll give Edmonds that he's like a higher mid-level type of guy, but they really didn't do much, like, at all. And the Vikings are basically fire selling their whole defense, and they're horrible.
I wouldn't be so hard on the Bears fans if they'd stop overhyping the hell out of Justin Fields. This man has done nothing for 2 years, and it's like he's gonna take over the North. He's gonna win MVP, and I'm like, based on what? Based on what?
I know, all right? Nothing. Absolutely nothing.
It really does, and I'm not joking. It really reminds me of Raiders fans. I'm from the Bay Area. I remember this very distinctly. You got to give Jamarcus Russell time. You got to let him develop. Like, this is only his 3rd year. I remember those conversations.
You went down that road, Nick? Jamarcus Russell?
Well, it ties into Justin Fields, where I'm like, dude, this is one of the worst passers I've ever seen in, like, history. And they're like, dude, you got to give him time, though. You got to let him develop. Justin Fields is already one of the worst passers in history already.
Not only that, but he also, in his first 2 years, he's turned the ball over almost as many times as some QBs have turned the ball over in 5 years. And it's like, yo, what the hell?
He fumbled 16 times last year.
Like, I got into a debate with someone about this, and I don't think he understood what I was saying, because he was saying, oh, Justin Fields turned over the ball 16 times. Like, no, he didn't. He fumbled the ball 16 times. Most of those actually weren't turnovers. He's saying, so it's a good.
Only one of them was a turnover. But you don't want your quarterback fumbling. See, they don't understand the magnitude of just fumbling the ball 16 times. Just because you recovered 15 of those somehow doesn't mean that next year you're going to recover 15 of the 16 again. You know what I mean?
Not only that, but a fumble, regardless of whether or not you recover it, takes momentum away from your offense. Because imagine, let's say you have a huge hole to run up to, or you have room, and you fumble the ball. It's most likely going backwards, and then you got to fight to recover that. And now you got to make up the space that you just fucking lost because you fumbled the ball.
And when you watch the highlights, it's most of the time, more often than not, it's 100% his fault. A lot of times, I've said this in previous shows where he actually holds the ball out, like when he runs.
Yeah,
like a loaf of bread.
Well,
he doesn't tuck the ball.
And I'm not gonna go on that route of have you played football, but when I was in middle school, I played fullback, so I know how to hold on to a ball. You're not supposed to open the basket until you're past the line of scrimmage. Then you shift it to your hands and ideally hold it to the nearest sideline, if that makes sense.
Away from the tacklers. Away from the action.
But what he does is he holds the ball like this. A lot of the times he fumbles, he runs and then holds the ball in his hand like that.
The play breaks down and that's it. He's out.
Then he gets hit and all of a sudden it starts flopping around. Like you said, that's a momentum killer. It really is.
Another example. Taysom Hill is like the closest person I can compare to Justin Fields. If you've seen Taysom Hill hold the ball, that man knows how to secure the ball. He does not fumble that often. For a quarterback that takes a lot of hits, when he does run the ball, and he does it a lot, he doesn't.
We know all about Taysom. We know all about him.
You know what's sad? Is Taysom Hill in his full games as just a quarterback is a better passer than Justin Fields.
Really?
No, I'm not kidding. 2 years ago, remember when Taysom Hill, because Winston got hurt, there were games, it was a few of them where Taysom Hill actually played quarterback the entire game. He actually threw like 30-plus passes. They won a few of those games, and he was his stats are much better than Justin Fields. So I don't see an excuse for Justin Fields at this point. Like, you're either a good passer or you're not, and at this point, you're just not.
And I hear a lot of Bears fans, they'll be like, well, he was a pocket passer in college. I'm like, well, you stop comparing college to the NFL. Nobody cares. Once you get drafted, nobody cares.
Go look at Jared Goff's stats in college. They're like elite. You know what I mean? Someone said something like that yesterday where they were like, Justin Fields had 35-plus 100 yards when he was in college, like when he threw. And I said, so Ryan Leaf almost had 4,000 passing yards his junior year when he was in college. Are you going to sit there and go, that's why Ryan Leaf is great? It's such an irrelevant point to make, the college stats.
And the funny thing is, Patrick Mahomes had fairly average numbers when he was in college. Like, he wasn't terrible, but it was like
Did you know Patrick Mahomes has the exact same amount of interceptions as Jordan Love in college?
I don't doubt it. That he was an average quarterback in college, and you see what he's done.
So I'm not going to sit here and go, "Hey, Jordan Love is now Patrick Mahomes," right? Because see what I'm saying? It's like fucking ridiculous, is it not?
No, but it's not. No, it's more ridiculous that people think he's going to be a bum, and he hasn't even had a chance. He's a first-round draft pick, man. He sat behind one of the greatest quarterbacks to play the game. He's been in this system 3 years. I mean, he's if he don't know the system by now, then man, he don't deserve to be here no how.
You know what? Maybe he is a bum. Maybe he sucks. That's not the point. The point is the rationale and the logic to just absolutely just saying he's just a bum because of like no
No, there's no. Yeah, you got to get.
Like, I make fun of Love sometimes, but their rationale is, well, you can't possibly have another Hall of Fame quarterback.
Yeah.
So Love has to be trashed.
That's bad logic, right? Like, maybe it's possible.
Totally.
I'm not saying it's going to happen because, in my opinion, in my mind, it's a very small percentage that Love will be a Hall of Fame quarterback. Now, he doesn't have to be a Hall of Fame quarterback to succeed, though. He could be good. He could just be a good quarterback, and we have enough pieces around him that we win. Like, for me, I feel like that could actually succeed. Eli Manning, in my opinion, is not a Hall of Fame quarterback.
Eli Manning is the most average quarterback I've ever seen. And this man has 2 Super Bowls, and Drew Brees has 1. Come on.
But Drew Brees is drastically better than Eli ever dreamed of. But my point was, I don't think Eli should ever make the Hall of Fame. He was never that good. But watch him make the Hall of Fame because he won 2 Super Bowls. My point is, Jordan Love doesn't have to be Aaron Rodgers. He'll never be Aaron Rodgers. Maybe Jordan Love could just be a really decent, good quarterback that runs the offense, and we have enough talent around him that we win.
I don't want him to be.
Something that I say in any sport, like, obviously Nick hates the Celtics. So me bringing up the Celtics, he's gonna be like, shut up. But like, whenever I hear someone say, "Oh, Jason Tatum can be the next Kobe," I'm like, I don't want him to be the next Kobe. I want him to be the first Jason Tatum. I want him to make his own mark.
I see drastic differences between Tatum and Kobe, though. That's my problem.
I mean, bro, here's a perfect example. We have it in front of us. Favre was a total different quarterback from Rodgers. I mean, for various reasons, I like both of them guys, man. I mean, they both did great things.
Rodgers and Favre. Love is different than both these guys.
Yes, and that's the beauty of it, man. He could be better than both of these guys. I don't know, and I don't want to say he's gonna be, and I don't want to say he's not. But until he gets his shot, cut the guy some slack. Everybody's like, Fields has had 20 games, bro, in the pros. You know, Love's had a quarter against the Philadelphia Eagles. Give me a break.
I think that's one of those discrepancies that James loves to poke at fans for. Is like, you're making fun of Love, but you have a guy that started 25 times and only won 5 games. You have a guy that we've seen factually that is not good. You have guys that we've seen play.
That's for Aston.
That's something I poke at Bears fans because I remember this one post. I think it was Paul Murphy.
Because they're dramatic.
Where he said Justin Fields is probably right now the best quarterback in Bears history. And I'm like, if you can look at Justin Fields and say he's the best quarterback in Bears history, and y'all have had some shitty quarterbacks. So I know y'all have.
Jay Cutler at this point is easily better than Justin Fields. Like that's not a contest to me.
We still tell Bear fans he's the best QB they've ever had.
I say that all the time. They're like, no, actually it was Jim McMahon. And I was like, it's really not. It's really not.
Bro, it's not. When he said Jim McMahon was like the 23rd or I'm telling you, and there was only like 28 teams back then. I mean, come on, man.
See, the reason they say that, I'm pretty sure Jim McMahon was on the Super Bowl squad, right? So I'm pretty sure that's the reason they say that because they won him a Super Bowl. Like just because he won the Super Bowl doesn't mean he's the best.
That's the only reason you would bring up that name.
But bro, all he did was hand the ball to Walter Payton or throw the ball really far so Willie Gault could run underneath it.
Jim McMahon was a horrible quarterback who had a defense that averaged 14.8 points per game against them.
There's the real reason.
Even my grandmother could win a Super Bowl when you're giving up 14.8 points per game, okay? Like
if their logic is Jim McMahon is the best quarterback in their franchise history, then I'm going to fucking say Rex Grossman is the second best quarterback in their history.
Yes.
Because Rex Grossman was the closest thing to them getting a second ring.
Sid Luckman is their second best quarterback. He actually was pretty good for his time. He was not bad. They just never won. But he was actually individually pretty good for his time, Sid Luckman.
I don't know.
So look, let's talk about this real quick because you're not getting our rationale. You're not getting the logic of this. Eli has 2 MVP Super Bowl.
Okay, here's what I'm going to say. Here's what I'm going to say to that comment, okay? One person being good in 2 games of their career does not make them a Hall of Famer.
He rarely ever made the playoffs. He rarely ever made the playoffs. I get he was Joe Flacco, but he did it 2 times. He Joe Flacco'd it 2 times. You know what I mean?
Because guess what? Okay, so yes, Eli had 2 successful playoff runs, but those weren't his only 2 playoff appearances. He made the playoffs 6 times other than that, and he lost all of those playoff games.
He was horrible, too. He had, like, really bad stats, too. Not only that, when you go look at his season stats, you'll notice that his best seasons are average to great quarterbacks. They're average. And a lot, like most of his seasons are like just not good, man. He was a turnover machine. He was inaccurate. He was actually kind of a bum. I'm not even going to lie. He was kind of a bum most of his career.
I watched a video that said this, and Nick might agree with me, where this person was talking about sports in general. And he said, believe it or not, and I don't want to hurt any fans' feelings when I say this, believe it or not, just because your team won the Super Bowl that year, it does not mean you were the best team. It means you were able to win multiple playoff rounds in a row. That's all it means. And then, of course, you get the trophy then. That doesn't mean you were the best team that season.
That is so factual in so many ways. I'm a San Francisco Giants fan. Watching them win those 3 World Series, we were not the best team in the MLB that year. None of those years. In fact, we had to beat the Padres the first time in 2010. We had to beat the Padres in a 163rd game to make the playoffs because we had tied for the division. So we had to play that game to make the playoffs, a 163rd game to go to the playoffs. We were clearly not the best team in the league. And we won the World Series because every once in a while, a team gets hot. Look, is the Miami Heat the best team in the Eastern Conference right now? No, they're not even close to the best team in the Eastern Conference.
Yeah, they won the East because they got hot at the right time. They got not healthy necessarily, but
sometimes that's all that matters. Were the Packers in 2010, were we the best football team in the NFL that year? No, we were not. but we won the Super Bowl. You know why? Because that's sports, brother. That is sports.
Because he said like, compared to this, say you're an actor, right? And you've been in a lot of movies, but you never get the Grammy on the day that they give out the Grammys or whatever goes with the actor. Does that mean you weren't the best actor that year? No, it means you lost the fucking award to someone.
That means that you got outvoted. That's all that
You got
means.
a popularity vote. That's right. It's a popularity.
So look, does Michael Jordan, Kobe? Oh, okay, Kobe. First of all, Kobe only won one MVP. Does that mean that he wasn't the best player in the league? Only other than one time? No, he got shafted a million times. Okay, so LeBron James only has 5 MVPs. I believe Jordan has 6 MVPs. Now, does that mean that Jordan and LeBron weren't the best players in the league other than the 5 or 6 times? No, that's not what that means. So
let me give you another example. This is something Nick makes fun of me about. Drew Brees never won an MVP. Does that mean in every single season the Brees didn't win MVP? Was he never the best quarterback? Probably not. He's probably the best one.
I believe he was close to it, but I'm just gonna say, this is just my opinion. I actually truly believe that Drew Brees, he was so unfortunate the times that he was so amazing. There was just someone that just outdid him just by like a minute increment.
That's funny because I always said that Drew Brees had the unfortunates. Every time he had an MVP-like season, there was someone else that did. LaDainian Tomlinson 2006, Peyton Manning 2009, Aaron Rodgers 2011, and Patrick
I think
Mahomes,
the 2009 one you have the best argument for that Drew Brees should have won that MVP over.
Somebody
Peyton.
tell all this to Jim Kelly.
That's so. Look, the 2010 MVP when Rodgers won over him. Rodgers had he didn't play the last game, and he had more total touchdowns. He had the best passer rating in history. He broke a bunch of records, and his team went 15-1. There's no way that you could sit there and be like, okay, he should have won it over Rodgers. In my opinion, that's just my opinion.
The
But
thing is, I was actually okay with Brees getting the Offensive Player of the Year that year because he was the Offensive Player of the Year.
But the 2009 one, I feel like Brees actually has an actual argument to beat out Peyton Manning for that MVP. I really, truly believe that.
Oh, I felt he did because he played one less game than Peyton Manning. He threw for more touchdowns, I think one more touchdown. He had like 100 or he had between 50 to 150 less yards, which he could have made up had he played that last game. He had less interceptions.
So just like I just gave it to Rodgers because he played one less game, Brees should have got the same token, see what I'm saying, for not playing that last game. Because Brees would have eclipsed Peyton Manning if he played that last game. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I think 2009 is the best argument for Drew Brees that he should have won an MVP. And he should have. Drew Brees is so great and so amazing. Drew Brees should have at least had one MVP. I only give you shit about it because it's part of the argument. That's the only reason why.
Oh yeah, no. I know when Nick is trolling me because he makes it very obvious. And the funny thing is, Nick is one of those dudes when he goes too far, he'll actually apologize.
And then I'll talk normal with you. But Drew Brees deserves at least one MVP in his career. And again, we're talking about it right now. It's just he had one of the most unfortunate careers in history because, boy, talk about carrying a franchise on your back your whole career. Not only that, you were eclipsed. You just so happen to be eclipsed by guys winning MVPs that just barely beat you out other than 2009. Like, this dude is a top 10 quarterback in history, and he never won an MVP. I find that to be impressive, actually.
I remember one thing because Nick is always because I'm not going to say Drew Brees is the top 5 quarterback, and I always laugh when someone makes fun of me. He's like, Drew Brees, I'm a top 5 quarterback. I'm like, I don't give a fuck. That's really what
I don't think he's top 5. I think he's top 10 though.
But I always argue that Brees should be higher than Brett Favre in whatever ranking you do. Like, I feel he's better than Brett
You
Favre.
can make that argument, and I'll respect that part of your argument. But see, what people are going to do is they're going to bring up the MVPs because Brett Favre has a lot of them.
Well,
They're gonna,
okay, so like I think there's a difference between having a more accomplished career than having a better career, if that makes sense.
No, it makes total. It's just like being better as opposed to being greater. See what I'm saying? Like there are differences between having the better career or the greater career. See what I'm saying? Like, so I don't think Breeze can get anywhere near Rodgers. That's just my opinion. I don't think it can happen. Like I think Rodgers eclipsed him like a few years ago, but Drew Brees, I believe, has a serious argument for he's got to be top 10. He's got to be, and he deserves at least one MVP one of these years. He's one of those kind of great players.
I know this is like an NFC North chat, but I want to like just off the top of my head name like things that Drew Brees did. Like one, he played, 20 years? That's a long ass time for anybody, especially in NFL. I don't give a fuck if you're a quarterback. The only people that normally last longer are kickers.
I think Brees played 18 years.
Was it 18? Because he got drafted in 2001. And he retired in 2020.
Well, let's see. He played. Oh, he did. He did hit his 20 year.
Yeah. Now, I don't know if he missed a year to injury. I do know he got hurt up in San Diego, but I don't think he missed an entire year due to injury.
He did. He missed. He played one game, and then he missed the entirety of that season.
Okay, so you can say 19 if you want, but
no, I'll call it 20. That's longevity right there.
Yeah.
Am I going to say because LeBron got hurt no, this motherfucker's been playing for 20 years, right? Like, I'm going to give it to Breeze. He played 20 years. That's rare. That's extremely rare to play 20 years.
When he retired, like obviously not now, but when he retired with the most passing yards in history and the most touchdowns in history. Again, you can give that to his longevity because that's kind of a longevity stat, but you have to play that.
One of the problems I have though, James, and I'm sure you'll understand when I say this, Peyton Manning did it in 100 plus less less passes is what it was. So I can't look.
Well, I was also going to say he also had the record for most pass attempts too. So
that is an accomplishment, and Drew Brees holds that record. What I will say is part of my argument is, in my opinion, Peyton Manning did it better because he did it with less attempts. Now, so here's the thing. So what if Peyton Manning did it better? That's the second best, greatest quarterback in history. Like, who gives a shit, right? Like,
yeah.
So, but the fact that Drew Brees did that's astronomical. Like what he's done, the records that he holds. I'm sorry, but that's going to take a long time for Patrick Mahomes to beat those records. That's all I'm saying.
Like even then, because I don't normally listen to Nick Wright, but he actually said something about Brees in his later seasons. Obviously, when Brees's arm talent went down and he wasn't able to throw for as many yards he could, his pass accuracy went up because he adapted to being able to play with a weaker arm.
Which is another Peyton Manning attribute. It's the same thing where, just like Peyton Manning, when he got that shoulder fuse to his neck, in his passing, like he couldn't throw the ball anymore the way he used to, bro, his accuracy went up. His yards went up. His touchdowns went up. You know what? This is a great conversation to acknowledge that Tom Brady did it the right way just from day one. He has. Instead of being the home run hitter, instead of being Mike Trout, Barry Bonds to start your career, he's his whole career been the pocket presence guy that sits in the pocket, checks down when he needs to, gets his lower end receivers the ball on these slants, and throws the ball deep every once in a while when he needs to. And he made a whole career off that, won Super Bowls off that, and just let his coach, his management, and his team help him win. Like, maybe there's an attribute to that because guys like, for example, Aaron Rodgers, who wants to home run hit every fucking time he throws the ball, it clearly doesn't work, does it?
Exactly. Or like, again, I'm going to use an example with a different sport, but like, so football, obviously I've always called it the ultimate team sport because every player has a certain skill. And generally when players get older or they have disadvantage, like Breeze being shorter than most quarterbacks, you have to adapt to be able to play those certain play styles. So
Well,
like,
let's be honest. You can't win if your 53 is not better than the other 53. I hate when people are like, like the quarterback lost the game. It's like, dude, if your 53 is not better than the other 53, that's football, is it not?
That's like something I say whenever someone's like, okay, well, this quarterback beat this quarterback head to head. I'm like, they never went head to head. They never went head to head. That quarterback didn't play on defense. They played behind their offensive lines. You want to know who went head to head with them? That other team's defense. So, like, you look stupid when, like, a game ends, like, let's say 51-50. You're like, oh, our quarterback beat your quarterback. I'm like, no, they both balled out.
It's like when we lost to the Bucs in the NFC Championship game. Aaron Rodgers outplayed Tom Brady by a long shot. Like, he outplayed him easily. Now, but Tom Brady played against Green Bay's defense, and Aaron Rodgers played against the Bucs defense. That's the difference. There was a big difference between those two defenses. So it's like, oh, Aaron Rodgers lost to Tom Brady. No, Aaron Rodgers didn't get in a ring with boxing gloves and fight Tom Brady. That's not what happened. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It sucks, right? It sucks. It sucks that social media has given people a platform to talk ridiculous shit like that, where it's like, so clearly you don't understand. Okay, just for example, it's like when people say like, man, LeBron James like ruins the chemistry. Okay, well, you're not watching the plays that are being ran. You're not watching when LeBron is actually hitting his guys open. He's also creating the offense. He not just by himself, ISO. I'm talking about creating the entirety of the offense where he gives that backside pass and it gets the AD for the layup. But no, LeBron James ruined the offense. You know what I mean? It's like, it's just like when people say Jason Tatum. Jason Tatum is the reason why Jaylen Brown sucked that game. Like, no, that's not what happened. If you watch the actual game of Game 7 before Jason Tatum got hurt and Jaylen Brown had a really bad game, the offense actually was moving really smoothly outside of the paint, and they were getting the ball to the right guys to shoot. They just weren't hitting the shots. Sometimes you don't make them. That's all there was to it. I hated when people blame Jason Tatum for ruining the entirety of the offense that game, when I was sitting there being like, so first of all, Jason Tatum did not make Jaylen Brown suck that game. And second of all, Jaylen Brown had a lot of good looks. Like, that had nothing to do with it. The offense revolved around the paint. Jason Tatum was moving the ball. Jaylen Brown was getting the shots. It just didn't work that game. You see what I'm saying?
But also, like in football, and even then, it's not just on the play. Well, a lot of it is on
but
the
you
players.
See what I'm saying when people say shit like that? Like, you're just not watching the entirety of the game, where it's like you're just giving a bold-faced fucking opinion, and it's just not true, because there's 15 different factors that happen in one play. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I can tell a lot of people when like they're just casually watching rather than when they actually watch the sport. Like, I'm not gonna lie, when it comes to NBA, I normally just watch the Celtics. But if I watch another game, like I can at least tell, what's going on without, putting on like rose-colored glasses and being like, oh yeah, this person just sucks. But what I was about to say about football, and like a lot, like it's not just the players. Like I say, it's like a chess match, because it's also on the coach to call the right plays and put his players in the proper position. Like, let me give you an example. All right, like I said, I played fullback when I was in middle school, right? Look how small my body. I'm 5'7". Like, I just reached 200 pounds. When I got into high school, I couldn't play a position anymore. In fact, my coach refused when I tried out for the team. My coach was going to cut me because he said I was too small to play the position I was trying to play. Until he found out that I played soccer, specifically goalkeeper. And he was like, "Can you kick the ball?" And I was like, "I can try. Set me up a tee." And I started kicking field goals. He was like, "Okay, we have a place for you. We can use you to kick field goals," because that was the position that I actually could excel at better. If you get what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's actually unfortunate that, high school, middle school is like categorizing people in those ways, but I mean, I'm sure you had more to offer than just kicking the ball.
I did, but sometimes we ran fakes because I wasn't the best punter. So
I played quarterback, I played cornerback, and safety when when I grew up. I never played wide receiver before. I got to high school and they went, "You're going to be our starting wide receiver because you're 6'2", you're 140 pounds, and you can jump high." And I remember being like, "But I'm a pretty good quarterback. Like, I'm a pretty good cornerback. Like, I'm used to playing defense. I like hitting people. I like getting up when the running back comes to my side, and I'll be like, 'Yeah, come to me, boy, because I'm gonna slam you.'" But
I have a funny story. You know who Derek Barnett is from the Eagles? I don't know if he's still on the Eagles or not. I got the unfortunate chance to play him. He went to a private school, and we played them like they were at home. This is when I was still punting because it was my first year punting. I was a freshman. He blocked 2 of my punts, and on the second time he blocked it, he picked it up, and I ran behind him, re-stripped the ball, and recovered it. That was my highlight. I got one over on Derek Barnett.
It was still their ball though because it was 4th down.
No, it was a fumble, so it was a change of possession.
Yeah, but it was 4th down though, so it was still their ball after that.
No, okay. When you if you establish possession like on an interception or like a fumble, and you fumble the ball back, it goes back to a change of possession because you establish possession of it. It's weird.
I don't think that's how the NFL works, but either way, you still put down a big motherfucker that was in the NFL.
If I saw him today, he probably wouldn't remember who I am. But I'd be like, "Hey, remember when I got one over?"
He'd be like, "Motherfucker!" Well, look.
Holy shit. Oh, it's 9:46. I gotta go to sleep soon.
I just went 1 minute over. We're gonna end this podcast. Thank you for being on the show. Thank you everybody that watched. Frozen Tundra Network. Go Pack Go. You can go ahead and say Go Saints.
Who that, baby?
Thank you, everybody. Frozen Tundra Network will be back next Friday.